Do you have social media questions? Do you constantly look for the right answers? Is it correct? Is this information from 2019 or is this information from now? Is what I'm doing right now what I'm supposed to be doing right now? Well, that's where we come in. I'm Karen Terradas with Social U, and we are here to answer your questions and help you out. On today's live, we're going to be fielding live questions. I want to know what you guys want to know. I want to know what you're interested in learning about so we can use those topics to schedule ahead. I will go ahead and let you know upcoming our August topics, which I'm actually pretty excited about. We're going to talk about September, sorry. We're going to talk about back to school and online education for small businesses, where you can learn additional information for little to no cost so that you can grow your current business. The second week, we're going to create a strategic holiday marketing plan. I know nobody wants to hear this, but the trifecta, Halloween, Thanksgiving, and Christmas are literally upon you, especially if you're retail. Now is the time to start getting ready. We're going to discuss contests and giveaways, including rules and regulations for each platform, excuse me, so that you know what you should and shouldn't be doing. And just a note to self, if you break the rules on Facebook, they have the right to delete your page. So you definitely want to stay within those boundaries and guidelines. And then the last week of the month, we're going to have marketing expert Lisa Shuck live, and she's going to be talking about, we haven't decided exactly. I know she's going to be available for questions, but I believe we're going to be discussing like an overview, for a small business to create their own one-sheet strategy. So I'm very much looking forward to that. Good morning, Tara. How are you? Tara's a planner. Her business is Any Reason to Plan. She is local to Birmingham. And if you have an event coming up, amazing. I highly recommend her. And let's go ahead and get started. You guys have to tell me what you want to know. Again, I welcome questions. I will display the questions. Good morning, Leah. Leah is one of our team members. She's our oldest team member, she's our most seasoned team member, which I don't know if that sounds any better. She's younger, but she's been with me the longest. Let me just say it like that. That's so much better. Okay, Threads. Let's talk about Threads. Instagram has one of the most invasive agreements for the service at all, period. For those of you guys who may not be aware, Instagram actually has the right to do face map recognition. So when you're on Instagram, they are following where your eyes are looking so they can better advertise to you at a later time. Threads is Instagram's version of Twitter. And the whole reason this came about is because Facebook and Elon and Zuckerberg are at war. They're battling with each other. They don't like each other at all. So to compete with Twitter, which is a dumpster fire right now, it's not even Twitter anymore. It's X, ridiculous. They came out with Threads. Fastest growing app, period. It hit 100 million almost immediately in the first week. However, when you sign up for Threads, you are agreeing to their terms of use and their contract, which means you are allowing them to have access to your phone, your contacts, your personal information, your videos and photos. And the only way you can get rid of your Threads account is if you delete your primary Instagram account. And I'm just not there yet. There's been enough complaining that they are working to fix some of those issues where you can delete your account or suspend your account without having to delete your entire Instagram account. But until they relax on some of those regulations, I don't want them to have access to my whole life. So I will tell you, hold off on Threads temporarily and let's kind of see where it goes before you jump in with both feet. And I'm all about trying out new platforms. I was all over Clubhouse when it very first started. I mean, it didn't do very well. And I bet half of you guys don't know what it is, but sometimes you just kind of have to wait it out. So Threads, again, Instagram's answer to Twitter. Not super convinced it might be around long term, but I haven't seen a whole lot of business implications for it yet. So we'll kind of see where it goes. Our next question, if you're launching a new business and it's not open yet, what should your social media strategy be? That is a great question. It depends on the business. You have to decide which platform you're going to be on based on who your target market is. So if you are selling Medicare, for example, your average user is going to be over the age of 50. So Facebook and LinkedIn are going to be great platforms for you. Not Snapchat, probably not Instagram. If you are selling clothing to teenagers, you're going to want to be on Instagram, probably TikTok, because you can use those reels on either platform. So you can use that content more than one time, but you have to figure out which platform works for your client base. If you are struggling and that's something you need help with, our resident expert, Lisa Shuck, who is our guest for next month, she can help you craft your messaging and pinpoint target your branding. A great example of that, we're working with a customer who hasn't launched yet. She has already sat down with them. They figured out their messaging and they have figured out their specific target for their audience. When I sat down with them, they weren't quite sure. And now we know which direction to take because of the time they spent with her to kind of figure that out. And then once that's done, once you have your strategy in place and you're ready, we can help you with your website and we can help you with your social media. There is absolutely no reason you can't go ahead and start your social media presence, your online presence, so that you're ready when your business starts. Most authors nowadays pre-sell their book. A lot of retailers, they pre-sell. It's totally, if you have a course that's launching, it's totally okay to pre-sell it. Everything doesn't have to be done and perfect before you start promoting it and start selling it online. Seriously. Thank you, Tara. I appreciate that. Tara's probably bummed out because the threads question was not fun, but it is what it is. Let's see, Kyle, what kind of clients do you have? We have actually a lot of diversity. We do work with some small businesses. We do work with some medium-sized businesses, and they range from retail to medical. We have legal, we have maintenance. We have a comprehensive sleep client. It ranges the gamut. And I've now been doing this long enough that I can honestly tell you that we worked with most industries for a long time. About 5 or 6 years ago, primarily what we did was weddings. We don't do a ton of that anymore. We do work with event planners some now, but we have experience in almost every industry. Normally, ideally for us, working with a client that has multiple locations is our kind of sweet spot. So yeah, that's kind of where we are. But yeah, we can work with any clients. And if you have any specific questions, let us know. What do you know about social listening tools? There are some great social listening tools. One of the best social listening tools are other social media platforms. Seriously, Twitter is one of the best places you can go for listening. Facebook is the last player to the game. So normally I would tell you Twitter, but TikTok's giving them a run for their money. You're now getting news on TikTok that's more breaking, that's more current, that's more up to date, up to the minute. And if you doubt that, you can go into TikTok and take a look and then go to Instagram and search the same exact information so that you have the ability to kind of see the difference when the words just totally escaping me. When Paris basically shut down, when they were actively picketing and demonstrating, you didn't see a word of it on anywhere but TikTok. So yeah, it's a great listening platform. Some other good listening platforms, Google Alerts is great. You have to be careful and kind of cultivate that because a lot of times when you put those keywords in, you're going to get an interesting mix of a lot of stuff that maybe isn't relevant. So you have to kind of cull through that. You can use Facebook tags in the mention bar. You can't just hang out on Facebook. You can, but they're really, truly the last of the party. So if you want to get specific for listening, you want to go through the tags and the mentions. Look in the search bar. Twitter's still by far my favorite. There's also a program called Mention. It's paid. You do have to pay it. There's a free version, but it can go up to, I want to tell you it's $40 a month. I think that's about right. But there is a free version, and I like free versions of most everything. It gives you the ability to listen to different brands and agencies and monitor, including their social media. So it looks at everything, so you don't have to go through one line at a time or one platform at a time to figure it out. And there are some other different listening tools if that's something you're super interested in. I know I have a list. I'll put it in the comments so you can take a look at it. Let's see, Laura, what's the secret to following and getting followers and great stats? Engagement, 100%. You can't, it takes a village. I know everybody's heard that. You absolutely have to have engagement. Now, excuse me, if you're a small business and you have employees, that's your team. Those are your go-to. Those are your people who are going to support you. So those are the folks you want to get to go in there and comment and share that information first, because every single platform weighs engagement more heavily than a like. LinkedIn comments matter the most on LinkedIn. That's their primary way they determine if content is good or not, is how many comments it has. So in order for more people to see it, if 2 or 3 of your employees go in there, or your colleagues or your vendor friends, if they'll go in and comment, LinkedIn automatically decides that it is good information and they'll share it with more people. And then it gets even better. If your employees share it to their personal profile, it also gives them it gives you the ability to have that information seen by their connections as well as the people who follow you. So truly, following, to get more followers and to get more engagement, you need to incorporate your team, and you also need to engage. You're going to get your best engagement when you engage. And it doesn't have to be, you don't have to spend an hour on every platform. You can spend 30 minutes once a week. Just pick the platform you're growing. You can't do everything. You can't be all things to all people. So if you're on Instagram, you want to follow and comment and like different posts so that people can see your name. They can see your branding pop up in different threads and on different posts. That's the easiest way to get noticed. And that's the best way to drive your engagement. Also, if anybody comments on your anything, respond. You don't have to, it doesn't have to be a monologue. You don't have to go on for 2 paragraphs, but you do need to comment because, again, activity breeds activity. So make sure that you stay active. Kyle, I want to be alerted when someone mentions something specific in their Facebook posts. You can set up, there are programs that you can set up that will alert you when your name is mentioned. Mention will do that. You also have the ability, if you search in the search bar on Facebook and you look for your name or your company name, even if the person didn't tag you, it's gonna come up. If you've been on Facebook for more than a minute, you know that if you're tagged, you'll see the notification, whether it's on your business or your profile. But if they don't tag you correctly, you're still going to come up. You have a pretty unique last name. So if you go to on Facebook to their search bar and you look for your name, again, even if you're not tagged, every post you're mentioned in, it's going to show you. So you do have the ability to manually search it. If you want a program to do that, again, I'm happy to send you a list. There are several programs that will alert you if you are mentioned. Mentioned is just the one that comes to mind first because it's one of the most comprehensive. Should every business have an Instagram presence? Not necessarily. It just depends on your audience. I will tell you, Instagram is one of the most difficult platforms to grow on. The algorithm is almost combative. You have to just about make a deal with the devil. Seriously difficult to grow followers on Instagram. So if you're going to have a presence, you have to be dedicated to it. You have to be committed to posting daily, 3 to 5 times a week. You have to be committed to posting stories 3 to 5 times a week. You have to be committed to short form video. A lot of commitment for an Instagram account. And if you're selling to anybody under the age of 40, Instagram is really imperative. If your audience is over 50 or if your audience is super professional or medical, Instagram's probably not the best place or the best use of resources for you. So it really comes down to your audience, truly. What do I think is an underrated social platform that a business should consider? TikTok, 100% TikTok. I love it. It's all about community, and there are communities for every community. You have policemen, you have nurses, you have teachers, you have parents, you have retail, you have a mom group, and they're all ages. Gen X, which is in their 50s, late 40s, 50s, they're taking over TikTok. They have a huge presence. So don't let anybody tell you you're too old to be on there. One of the fastest growing accounts are 3 senior guys who do music. And I mean senior, like they're 80 years old. and they are selling out their venues when they go on tour because they have such a huge following on TikTok. So is it possible to grow? You bet it is. If you're dedicated and you spend the time that it takes to create those videos and get them posted, TikTok's a great platform, and it's a great way to connect with your community. Just truly, I think a lot of people, I think it's undervalued. Plus, you can use those reels, excuse me, you can use those short form videos as reels or as YouTube shorts. I think a lot of people omit YouTube too. You have to remember YouTube is owned by Google. So if you want to go up in the rank on Google, YouTube is the place to be. So I think those are probably the two most underutilized. Even companies that have an excellent presence on Facebook or Instagram or LinkedIn, they forget about YouTube as a resource. And nowadays, you cannot escape video. You have to have some sort of video presence. It's required. How do you balance trendy with staying authentic? That's a great question. And I think it's a huge challenge. You don't want to go outside of your wheelhouse. Like you're never going to catch me dancing on TikTok. Ridiculous. That's not my thing. Sarcasm, that's my thing. So if it stays within your brand and it works for your organization, it's okay to use. Now, there are some organizations that funny doesn't work. Humor is not going to work. Therefore, you want to stay away from those trends that use humor as a tool. Again, you have to ask yourself before you post anything, does this represent my company the way I want it to be seen? Would I be embarrassed if one of my clients I was trying to secure right now saw this video? And does it help move my company forward? And if you can answer positively to all of those questions, probably not a bad idea. But I would forego trendy for correct. Like I would rather see you not worry about the trendy and be who you are and educate and inform than try to stay on trend and do something that's so far off your brand that you miss the mark entirely. So yes, definitely be careful with the trendy. Should businesses be utilizing ChatGPT regularly, and can followers tell when they use it? Yes and yes. ChatGPT, for you guys who don't know, it's an AI tool that allows you to ask it questions and it gives you information. It has pros and cons. One of the cons is it only has information up to 2021. It's not up to the minute. So if there are new stats, if there's new information, it can't always tell what's brand new. Secondly, it's not always going to give you the information in a viable way that you can use it. It sounds kind of stilted sometimes. So it's a great way to get information about your industry. It's a great way to find out what your clients want to know so that you can target your blogs or target your posting or your captions more specifically to what people are looking for. But you can't use it as is. You do have to go in there. It does require a human touch. So you can go in there and ask, what are people in the what are current brides looking for in a wedding vendor, or what are the most common obstacles, or what are the most common issues that a bride is having? And when it answers the question, you can tell it, I want the top 10, and it'll give you the top 10. You can also educate it on how to better ask the question. You can literally ask ChatGPT, tell me the best way. What information do you need from me in order for you to give me the best information on this industry? You can ask them who your competitors are or who the competitor is for a specific website. It's limitless. As long as you are open and you're asking some good leading questions, you can get great information from ChatGPT. You can ask it, top 10 lists are my favorite thing because we work, again, with a very wide variety of client base. It's good to be able to have a resource that's an unlimited resource that you can ask questions. I want to know what their ideal customer wants to know. What are people Googling? What are people searching for? How do you make it work? That's what we want to know. So yeah, ChatGPT is awesome. You guys, lots of questions. Let's see. Let me go back and make sure I didn't miss any. Launching a business. What kind of clients do we have? Social listening. I really and truly, I know I have a list of social listening tools that will tell you when you're mentioned also. I want to say Talkwalker. It keeps coming into my head, but I'll make sure that we respond to that comment with a list. Kyle, make sure we'll get you a list. Instagram, underrated social platforms. ChatGPT. Wow, that was very speedy. Lots of questions. Do you guys have any other questions? Is there any other information that I can help share with you? I am happy to do that. Of course, if you missed the live Q&A and you need information and you just weren't available when we were available, you can always send us a direct message. Or you can always comment on a post. We do monitor regularly, and we will answer your questions, I promise. Wow. Top 3 social media tips of all time. That's not a big ask or anything. Let's see. I would say stay in your focused, be focused. You can absolutely be on 6 platforms. It is overwhelming for most small business owners. Pick your top 2, focus on those, get good at those before you expand. And you really and truly need to get good at one at a time. So if you're going to start and you're doing it on your own, absolutely, Facebook is very difficult to escape from. Most people have to be on Facebook. Most businesses do. So start with one, get really good at it before you move to the next one. But pick your platforms wisely. They have to make you accessible to your audience, to the people who are actually going to buy your product. And you have to have enough time and energy to be able to actually post and monitor these platforms well if they are going to work for you. So that would be tip number 1, pick your platforms wisely. Number 2, you you have to engage. You 100% have to engage with your audience, which means you have to post regularly. You have to respond to their questions. You have to engage your audience. You want to consider building a community versus building a following. I'd rather have 100 people who love you, who are brand warriors, who will talk about you and recommend you, than to have 1,000 people who wouldn't recognize your name if it came up in conversation. Community matters. So I guess my second tip would be stay engaged, keep your audience engaged, be engaged. And number 3, video. You 100% have to have video. It is 2023. There is no escaping it. If you're shy and you don't want to get in front of a camera, there may be another employee or another team member who is willing to get on camera instead. That's great. I would highly recommend that. If that doesn't work for you, use your voice, use still images, make video, but video matters. The companies, and I have seen stat after stat after stat, your retention on your website's higher, your conversion rate's higher. People are much more likely to remember it if it's video. People are more likely to engage if it's video. They're more likely to share if it's video. Think about this last 10 things you shared with your friends. Was it video? Bet it was. I bet more than half of it was. So video, targeted audience, engage the audience you have, in video, or would be my top 3 probably of all time. Because those same 3 things can breed success no matter what. I've been talking about video for years. Seriously, years. 5 years ago, my team, we predicted video is going to be huge. You have to get on the bandwagon. So if you haven't done it yet, now's the time to do it. Just saying. Are there any other questions? Is there anything else you guys want to know? Bueller? Yeah, I told you I was a Gen X. Of course I am. I'm going to go to the Bueller. That's it for me this morning, unless you guys have other questions, which I am happy to answer. I love doing live Q&A. If this is a feature that you like, I'm happy to do these once a month, the last Wednesday of every month, and you can bring your questions and I'll answer them live. And we do get some unusual questions, and I'll be happy to tell. If I don't know the answer, I'm going to tell you. I'm happy to go look and find what the answer is before committing. So for our final question, Cookie Fix, hands down, all day. Cookie Fix is a local company. Our team has a cookie wars. We have Team Crumble and Team Cookie Fix. So you guys, if you have questions or if you miss a live, leave me a comment. And if you have anything else you want to know, please let us know. But until next week, I am Karen Teradas with Social U, and we're here to help. Thanks.